So as a troll on Twitter,
Yeah.
in the best sense of the word, what do you make of cancel culture?
I
Of the
think it's Maoism. I mean, corporate America has done a far better job of implementing Maoism than the Communist Party ever could. You had this meeting not that long ago from, I think it was Northwestern University Law School, where everyone on the call got up and said that they were racist. I mean, this is something that legally you should be very averse to saying, even if it were true. And this kind of concept of getting up and confessing your sins before the collective is something completely
oh,
reprehensible.
they admitted this of themselves.
Yeah, they were like, because they're saying because they're white, they're inherently racist. So my name's John, I'm a racist. My name's this, I'm a racist. It was. You hear it and you're like, okay, this is Looney Tunes.
So you're saying that, wow, that's so much. You took a step further. So you're saying there's like a deep underlying force besides cancel culture. It's not just some kind of mob
Oh, it's not a mob at
symptom.
all.
It's
It's a systemic, organized movement being used for very nefarious purposes and to dominate, an entire nation.
how do we fight it? Because I sense it inside. I used to defend academia more because I still do to some extent. It's a nuanced discussion because, like folks like Jordan Peterson and a lot of people that kind of attack academia, they really are talking about like gender studies in certain departments. And me from MIT, it's the University of Science and Engineering, and the faculty there really don't think about these issues or haven't traditionally thought about it. It's beginning to even infiltrate there. The it's starting to infiltrate engineering and sciences outside of biology.
Yeah.
Like, let's put biology with the gender studies. Like, I'm talking about sciences that really don't have anything to do with gender. It's starting to infiltrate, and it worries me. I don't know exactly why. Like, I don't know exactly what the negative effect there would be, except it feels like it's anti-intellectual.
Oh,
Like,
yes, of course.
and I'm not sure what to, because on the surface, it feels like a path towards progress. At first, when I'm like zoomed out, just like squinting my eyes, not even in detail looking at things. But when I actually join the conversation to like listen in, the conversation on quote unquote diversity, it quickly makes me realize that there's no interest in making a better world.
No. It's about domination.
It's
At all
about getting,
costs.
yeah.
It's a way for, if you are a lowest status white person, using anti-racism is the only mechanism you will have to feel superior to another human being. So it's very useful for them. In terms of fighting it, one of my suggestions has been to seize all university endowments, which are the crystallization of privilege, and distribute that money as reparations. So be very effective by turning two populations against each other and strongly diminishing the university's intellectual hegemony. The universities are absolutely the real villains in the picture. Thankfully, they're also the least prepared to be aggressed upon. And after the government and the corporate press, they are the last leg of the stool, and they don't know what's coming, and it's going to get ugly, and I cannot wait.
So this is where you and I disagree. Part one, we disagree in the sense that you want to dismantle broken institutions
I don't think they're
or
broken.
the
I think they're
powerful.
working like by design. I think for over 100 years, they have been talking about bringing the next generation of American leaders, which is code for promulgating an ideology based on egalitarian principles and world domination.
Let me try to express my lived experience to
Okay,
you.
sure.
Okay. My experience at MIT is that there's a bunch of administrators that are the bureaucracy
Sure.
that I can say this is the nice thing about having a podcast. I don't give a damn. Is they're pretty useless. In fact, they
Yes.
get in the way. But there's faculty, there's professors that are incredible. They're incredible human beings that all they do all day, they're too busy. But for the most part, what they do all day is just like continually pursue different little trajectories of curiosities in the various avenues of science that they work on. And as a side effect of that, they mentor a group of students, sometimes a large group of students, and also teach courses. And they're constantly sharing their passion with others. And my experience is it's just a bunch of people who are curious about engineering and math and science, chemistry, artificial intelligence, computer science, what I'm most familiar with. And there's never this feeling of MIT being broken somehow, like this kind of feeling like if I talk to you just now or like Eric Weinstein, there's a feeling like stuff is on fire, right? There's
I
something
sure
deeply
hope so.
broken. But when I'm in the system, especially before the COVID, before this kind of tension, everything was great. There was no discussion of even diversity, all that kind of stuff, the toxic stuff that we might be talking about right now. None of that was happening. It was a bunch of people just in love with uh, cool ideas, exploring ideas, being curious and learning and all that kind of stuff. So I don't. My sense of academia was this is the place where kids in their 20s, 30s, and 40s can continue the playground of science and having fun. It's if you destroy academia, if you destroy universities, like you're suggesting, kind of lessening their power, you take away the playground from these kids to play.
It's going to be hard for you to tell me that I'm anti-playground.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm saying you're anti certain kinds of playgrounds, which is
Yeah, the ones that have the broken glass on the floor. Yeah, I am against those kinds of playgrounds.
no, you're
Yes.
no. See,
Yes. Then you see. Then you listen.
no, you wait. Yeah, I would say you're being the watchful mother who, the one kid who hurt themselves on the glass.
One kid, it's an entire it's generation after generation. I'm not a watchful mother. I'm the guy with the flamethrower.
No, I understand that, but you're using the one kid who was always kind of like weird,
That's
aka
us.
gender studies department,
Okay.
that hurt themselves on the glass, as opposed to the people who are like obviously having fun in the playground and not playing by the glass, the broken glass, and they're just. I mean, to me, some of the best innovations in science happen in universities.
Okay.
Like you can't forget that universities don't have this liberal, like politics, like literally in every conversation until this year, this year, there's something happening, but every conversation I've ever had nothing to do with politics. Trump never came up. None of that ever come up. Nothing. Like all this kind of idea that there's liberal, all that,
But
that's in the humanities.
yeah, but do you think MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, might be a little bit of an outlier?
Yeah, that probably is. Yeah, but I honestly don't think when people criticize academia, they're looking at they're in fact also picking the outliers, which is they're picking some of the quote unquote strongest gender studies departments.
This is nonsensical. When I was at Bucknell,
Yeah.
I was a college student. We had to take, we had a bunch of electives, and I wanted to take a class on American individualism. One of the texts of the 5 that we had to read was Birth of a Nation, the movie about the Klan.
Yeah.
So there's no department where these people are not thoroughgoing, hardcore ideologues. This is not a gender.
Humanities. That's a humanities.
Fine, all the humanities, not just gender studies.
Okay, fine. I can give you
History, English,
yes,
all of them. Every university, as you know,
yeah,
has it mandatory in the curriculum. They have to take a bunch of these propaganda classes.
I look forward to YouTube comments because you're being more eloquent and you're speaking to the thing that a lot of people agree with, and I'm being my usual slow self, and people are going to say not very nice things about me.
Don't say anything not nice about Lex.
Okay.
Please.
Let me try to just
shoot up a school. That would be preferable.
There he goes again.
Only the teachers.
Go to the darkest possible place.
That's sunshine, baby. Schools. That's where everyone goes to be happy. Playgrounds.
There he goes. Dark ear. Just dives right in just go dark and then just comes back up to the surface.
You don't have to feel this way anymore. Just one day it'll all be
over. You're probably a figment of my imagination. I'm not even having this podcast.
Well, after 18 Red Bulls, I'm surprised you could see anything.
This is like Fight Club.
Red Bull gives you delirium.
Yeah.
Fight Club. I got into it with Ed Norton yesterday on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he like the rest of the celebrities?
Yeah,
Very.
he's like, oh, this is an existential threat to America. Trump's a fascist. He's delegitimizing the Oval Office. I said, what an odd endorsement of Trump.
Well, you should have went with Brad Pitt. He might have a different opinion.
But that's
It's a
true.
Fight Club reference. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
This conversation is over.
it's interesting. I'd like to draw a line between science and engineering, and science not including like the biological aspect, the parts of biology
Yeah.
that touch, and humanities and biology. Like I feel because humanities, if you just look at the percentage of universities, it's still a minority percentage, and I would actually draw different. I think they serve very different purposes,
Sure.
and that's actually a broken part about universities. About like why is some of the best research in the world done at universities? That doesn't like there might be a different like MIT. It feels weird that a faculty.
Yeah, these are conceptually different things. Like
Yeah.
we do research and we teach. Why is this the same
Yeah,
Venn diagram?
it feels weird, but
Yeah.
that's just. But I'm coming to like the defense of the engineers that never talk about. I'm not like my mind isn't. I'm not like deluded or something where I'm not seeing the house on fire. I'm just saying I am seeing the house because I also lived in Harvard Square. I'm seeing Harvard, but
Can you see the tanks coming? They're coming, Lex. It's going to be so beautiful. I'll be like the American Beauty, the plastic bag. I just won't be able to stop crying because it'll be so beautiful.
Yeah,
The tanks.
I can already see it. But the engineering departments where like I believe that the Elon Musks of the world, that the like the innovation that will make a better world is happening, and like let's not burn that down because that has nothing to do with any like they're all like sitting quietly in while the humanities and all these kind of diversity programs they're not having any of these discussions.
Listen, my Soviet brother, we both know that ice water runs in our veins. So if you're calling for mercy, that is not how I'm wired,
Yeah.
but I'm not closing the door.
Yeah. I'm actually realizing now, so for people listening to this, I'll probably prepend this in saying that I'm even slower than usual. I didn't sleep last night, but I feel I'm actually realizing just how slow I am and how much preparation I need to do. And if I would like to defend aspects of academia, I better come prepared.
I don't think you need to defend them. I think I'm granting you your premise freely.
No, you might be.
Okay.
I don't think the world is. I
But
think
actually, you just defeat your own argument because it is not at all have to be the way that a phenomenal research institution like MIT, which no one disputes, has to also be an educational establishment. These two things are not at all necessarily interconnected.
But then you have to offer a way to separate them.
Correct.
But like I'm not a big fan. Everybody's different, but I'm not a fan of criticizing institutions without offering
Sure.
a way to change. And especially when I'm like have ability to change, I'd like to offer a path. Like
What if they weren't students? They were all mentor, what's the opposite of a mentor?
mentee,
Protege. What's the term when you
Graduate
when you
students?
work at a place like interns? Not an intern. It's not the word I'm thinking of. But anyway, like basically they're working there instead of going to college there.
it's possible, but it's going against tradition, and so you have to build new institutions and then
Can't have these engineers building new things. That's crazy.
yeah.
These research engineers, what are they going to be building things?
Well, one of the things because you're kind of a fan,
Apprentice. That's the word I was looking at.
apprentice,
Which is ironic. We're talking about Trump and we couldn't think of the word apprentice.
well done. We should both be
You're
fired.
fired.
Yeah, there you go. These Russian Jews so quick with their wit. Okay, but the thing is, you're a fan of freedom,
I am.
and there is intellectual freedom. People, this is what I was trying to articulate. I'm failing to articulate, but there truly is complete intellectual freedom within universities on topics of science and engineering.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't think it's going to take much persuasion, but I'll give you an example. When that, I'm sure you know more details about this than I do. When that scientist engineered that probe to land on that comet, and the article's written because this Hawaiian shirt he was wearing had like pinup girls on it, which I think his female student sewed for him or something, or his ex-girlfriend. And he had to apologize. This is what Rand was talking about.
Yeah.
That the great accomplishments of men have to say I'm sorry to the lowest, most despicable, disgusting people.
Yeah, I don't know. let me bring this case up because I think about this. This might not mean much to you, but it means a lot to a certain aspect of the computer science community. There's a guy named Richard Stallman. I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
He's the founder of the Free Software Foundation. He's like a big Linux. He's one of the key people in the history of computer science. One of those open source people, right? But he is like, I believe he's one of the hardcore ones, which is like all software should be free.
Okay.
Okay, so it's very interesting personality, very key person in the GNU, just like Linus Torvald, key person. So, but he also kind of speaks his mind, and on a certain chain of conversations at MIT that was leaked to the New York Times, then was published, led him to be fired or pushed out of MIT recently, maybe a year ago. And it always sat weird with me. So what happened is there's a few undergraduate students that called Marvin Minsky. Not sure if you're familiar who that is.
I've heard the name.
He's one of the seminal people in artificial intelligence. They said that they called him a rapist because he met with Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein solicited. These are the best facts known to me that I'm aware of. That's what was stated on the chain. Is he solicited a 17, but it might have been an 18-year-old girl, to come up to Marvin Minsky and ask him if he wanted to have sex with her. So Jeffrey Epstein told the girl.
Yeah.
She came up to Marvin Minsky, who was at that time is I think 70 years old, and his wife was there too, Marvin Minsky's wife, and he said no, or like awkwardly saying
no, thank you. Yeah,
no thanks, and that was stated in the email thread as Marvin participating in sexual assault and rape of this unwilling sexual assault, and it was called rape of this person, right? Of this woman that propositioned him. And then Richard Stallman, he's kind of known for this. You make fun of me being a robot, but he's kind of like a debugger. He's like, well, that sentence is not, what you said is not correct. So he like corrected the person, basically made it seem like the use of the word rape is not correct because that's not the definition of rape.
Yeah.
And then he was attacked for saying, oh, now you're playing with definitions of rape. Rape is the answer, right? And then that was leaked in him defending. So the way it was leaked, it was reported as him defending rape. That's the way it was reported. And he was pushed out, and he didn't really give a damn. He doesn't seem to make a big deal out of it. He just left.
They made an example of him.
They made an example, and then everyone was afraid to defend him. So like, there's a bunch of faculty.
Dude, you're from the Soviet Union. Doesn't this hit close to home for you?
I don't know what to think of it. It hits close to home, but it was basically, at least at MIT. Now MIT is such a light place with this. It's not common at MIT, but it was like 18, 19-year-old kids, undergraduate kids with this kind of fire in them. There's just very few of them, but they're the ones that raise all this kind of fuss. And the entirety of the administration, all the faculty are afraid to stand up to them. It's so interesting to me. Like, I don't know if I should be afraid of that.
You don't think you should be afraid that when someone who's trying to be specific when it comes to charges of violent assault is looking for that clarity, can get their life, other search areas?
Let me give you more context. There's a little bit more context to Richard Stallman, which is...
He was also a rapist.
No.
I left out that part. He liked raping people.
But he's had a history through his life of, every once in a while wearing the Hawaiian shirt with, like, he's a fat... sorry, but he's a fat, unattractive. He like what Trump referred to the
guy,
hacker,
700-pound guy in the basement.
In the basement, that's Richard. Okay, I love he is what he is. People he would eat his own. He would pick skin from his feet in lectures and just eat it.
No.
Okay, yeah, there's videos of him doing that.
So he must. I'm not joking. He must really be behind the spectrum then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And
oh my
I think this in his office, he door, he wrote something uh, like hacker plus lover of ladies or something like that, like something kind of yeah. So
Unprofessional.
yeah, unprofessional and a little creepy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he was
No, that's
creepy.
fair. That is, yeah.
So he was
So,
also
so they were looking for an excuse to get rid of him. It sounds like
no, he was just who's they?
the administration.
Yeah, probably.
A lot of times, what people don't realize, and this will be my defense of cancel culture. A lot of times when someone gets fired over something like this,
Yeah.
this isn't why. This is just giving them cover to get rid of them without getting a lawsuit.
Yeah, but it's still
Gross.
I think, I guess what I'm trying to communicate is he was a little weird and creepy, and he may not be the best for the community, but that's not necessarily the message it's sent to the rest of the community. The message is sent to the rest of the community that being clear about words or the usage of the word rape is like, you should call everything rape. That's basically the message it was sent.
Or you
And
should
it's
call
set
what we
wrong-
say rape. It's about submission. I think you'd be very happy to know that there's a lot of people, and she's very crucified by this, like Betsy DeVos, who runs the Department of Education, who are aware of this. They are aware that this completely contradicts due process. They're aware of how a rape accusation is something not to be taken seriously, but because it's not to be taken seriously, it has to be also taken seriously in other context. That, once that word is around a male, this can ruin his entire life. And
that's the sticky thing of the word. Like I think about this a lot, that like, how would I defend it if somebody, like, I can honestly say I've never done anything close to creepy in my life, like with women.
But you wouldn't know it if you had, right? That's the thing. A lot of these creepy guys don't think they're creepy. They think they're being cute.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you, even like, fine, let's say, right, let's say I'm not aware of it, but the point that I am aware of is that somebody could just completely make something up.
Correct. Yeah. Okay.
And like, what would I
supposed to? No, he denied the charges. There's an article around everything you did, supposedly, and it goes, Mr. Fridman denied the charges. Yeah.
But what creeps me out?
That happened. Can I interrupt? There was
sure.
Zora Neale Hurston is one of my favorite writers. She's from the Harlem Renaissance. She wrote Their Eyes Are Watching God, and a couple of other books. She was just an amazing, amazing figure. Her biography is called Wrapped in Rainbows. It's just a masterpiece. I think I read it one day. Can't recommend her enough. Fascinating, fascinating woman. During the 30s, I think it was, or 1940, she was out of the country. She was accused of molesting a teenage boy. She wasn't in America. This could be proven. So it's absolutely false. Not even a question. She was indicted. And she wanted to kill herself because she's like, people are going to see these things and they're going to think maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe it was voluntary. But they're just going to, and you could understand why she'd be suicidal over this. So yeah, this is something that's been going on for a long time, and the fact that it's becoming, I do agree, it's important. I know a lot of women who have been sexually assaulted, more than I'm happy that I know. And if I know that many, that means there's more. So I think it's a good idea that they feel seen, that they don't feel wounded, they don't feel damaged, that they can talk to their friends. And I'm like, man, this sucks. It's happened to you. And I don't think you're a slut. I don't think you're asking for it. I think you feel violated. I think it's gross. Talk to me. Like, I do think that that's important. And I also think it's important, though, like when things get kind of in a frenzy, that a lot of people are like, yeah, I also had something happen. And very quickly, the line between he grabbed my boob and he violently raped me, I don't think these two things are the same at all. I think they're both sexual assault. But in terms of what someone can deal with the next day, the next month, 10 years later, I don't think there's similar scenarios.
Yeah.
I had Juanita Broderick on my show, and hearing her talk about, her alleged rape by Bill Clinton was very disturbing for me. Very disturbing to hear, because it was like half an hour. So, we think of these things and think, okay, hold her down, blah, 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 and then it's done. Half an hour, when just even someone physically holding you down for half an hour, like not even a sexual assault, like that's traumatic.
Yeah.
You think, your brain's going to think, am I going to die?
When I zoom out, I think ultimately this is going to lead to a better world, like empowering women to speak to those kinds of experiences. The benefit of it outweighs the
issue is, whenever people are given a weapon some are going to use it
Yeah.
in nefarious ways. And that's the lesson of history. Males, females, whites, blacks, children, adults. When people are given a mechanism to execute power over others, some are going to use it.